Hey guys, welcome back to Popland Rant, and today I'm going to be talking about the perks of being a wallflower. Now, this is a review and also a character analysis. Now, I read this book at a very young age because I thought it would be a fun little book about a kid navigating his path through high school. And in a way, it was, but oh boy, was I wrong about the fun little book part. Very early on, we are confronted by the fact that the protagonist, Charlie, develops selective amnesia after finding out that his best friend had committed suicide. So it sets a very melancholy toll at the very beginning of the book. Now, I'm not going to attempt to psychoanalyze him throughout this review because I'm not a psychologist, but I will say that consider this my official trigger warning because he goes through some pretty serious stuff and a lot of mental health struggles. Let me just give you an overview of the main characters in this book. Now, there are other characters, of course, but these are the ones that are more relevant to the story. And I'm going to present you with a compendium of my thoughts on these characters. The most striking character is undoubtedly his Aunt Helen. This novel is actually presented as a series of letters written by Charlie, addressed to someone anonymous, and we feel her impact across all these letters. And what sets her apart from all of the other characters is that she is not actually alive. She has passed away, but her impact is present. Right at the very beginning of the book, Charlie describes that he and his aunt were best friends and establishes that he has a lot of love for her, and her death kind of messed him up. Now, there are a lot of little bits and pieces of information about her scattered throughout the book, including that she was abused as a child. But what is important about her in this relationship is that the kind of relationship that she shared with Charlie. And since this is supposed to be a largely spoiler free rant, I will just say that she is kind of crucial to everything that Charlie experiences later on in his life. Now, moving on, there is nothing much to say about his parents except his father slapped him once when he was a child, and I'll tell you in a bit why I think that is relevant to the story. Now, he has two siblings, a brother and a sister, and while they care for each other, they're not exactly close. There is one incident that I would like to mention with regards to his sister. She had a boyfriend, and there was this one time when she was pestering him because he did not stand up to his bully when he was 15 years old. And she kept on nagging him and being mean to him until he finally lost his cool and slapped her right across the face. And Charlie witnessed that. But as soon as that happened, she pulled a complete 180 and she suddenly was all sweet, mellowed down, and had this newfound respect for her boyfriend. And remember, I told you that why their father hitting Charlie when he was a kid is relevant to the story? This is why. His sister basically wanted her boyfriend to show toxic masculinity, and when he did, by asserting dominance over her, by physically abusing her, she felt better. Maybe because her father was an embodiment of that same kind of toxicity, so she found security in that. In some twisted way, she found comfort in that abuse, which is so messed up. And I've heard some people say that she was nagging him, so she basically drove him to violence. That is absolutely not true. Words can be fought back with words. You just need a strong comeback. You don't need to physically abuse someone to win a fight or win in a relationship. That is just so messed up. So I thought that I just really wanted to talk about that because that is completely 100% false. She did not drive him to hit her. Whatever he did was on his own accord. This is also very relevant for Charlie because he witnessed that and he was unable to help his sister. So it took an emotional toll on him because he saw his sister being in that abusive relationship and he couldn't do anything to prevent it. On a lighter note, there is his English teacher who is the perfect kind of mentor for him. and he is really understanding, really kind to Charlie. He listens to his problems, and he's more like a friend than a teacher to him. Plus, he also gives him some really good books to read. So, this book is interspersed with some really great book recommendations, and also presents some of Charlie's views on these very popular books. And I think that you can know a lot about a person through their views on books, which I guess is what is happening right now with you and I. You're kind of getting to know me through my views on these books, so that's fun. In a much more real way, though, this book is a quest for Charlie's closure as to why he is both happy and sad, or as to why the things that happened, or why his friend killed himself, or why people act the way that they do. He is so innocent, but at the same time so insightful and observant and honest, and he really sees beyond the surface, which is what makes this book so special to read. To give you an example of what I mean, I would like to read an excerpt from the book. I think about all this sometimes when I'm watching a football game with Patrick and Sam. I look at the field and I think about the boy who just made the touchdown. I think that these are the glory days for that boy, and this moment will just be another story someday, because all people who make touchdowns and home runs will become somebody's dad. And when his children look at his yearbook photograph, they will think that their dad was rugged and handsome and looked a lot happier than they are. I just hope I remember to tell my kids that they are as happy as I look in my old photographs, and I hope that they believe me. So I hope from that you got a gist of what this book is like. This is one of those books that stays with you for a very long time and forces you to think. Now, I don't want to make this review too long, so I will end this now. But I would feel so happy if you choose to read it and it means as much to you as it did to me. Again, as with anything, you have to be aware of your purpose for reading. If you're just looking for a light-hearted read, maybe don't pick this one up, but if you do, I promise you, you won't be disappointed. Now, with that, I'm gonna leave you, and thanks so much for listening. Bye.